Hey, Josebo! Eugene here. In this short episode, I'm going to share what homeowners can expect after meeting their shortlisted interior designers for the first time. Although there is no standard practice per se, I feel that it is still useful to share this information with homeowners so that there is some common understanding between client and ID. After knowing what to expect, I will also share some tips on how you can digest the information presented to you. Remember to watch till the end for a link to a free comparison chart to help you get organized. Before we get started, do like and subscribe to the channel for the latest updates. 卖涂料，来! Here's the scenario. You have prepared your basic design brief and shared it with a few shortlisted interior designers. If you've missed the episode on how to prepare a basic design brief, do check out the episode via the link below. So you're now waiting for them to respond to your brief, but you're not sure what you expect to see. Before we get there, we should also establish the objectives of the second meeting with your shortlisted designers. The main objective should be 1. To observe the responsiveness and commitment of the designer to your project through the discussion engagement. 2. To see if you like the overall proposed design solution and direction. And 3. To see if the proposed design matches your budget. With these objectives in mind, let's get down to the list. The following will be a couple of items that you can expect to see. Some items are good to have at this stage but not a must. These items will be indicated with the word optional. The sequence in which the items are discussed are in no particular order and do not represent a fixed pattern that these items must appear in. For both parties, the quotation would be the elephant in the room for the second meeting. In my opinion, it is always beneficial to both parties when the homeowner provides an indicative budget for the designer to plan with. But it depends on the designer to decide how strictly should the design proposal adhere to this indicative budget. There may be optional job items that the designer may propose on top of the budget match quotation as a form of enhancement to your project brief. The basic approach will either be an additive or subtractive process. This means that if the homeowner is more upfront on their budget, the time and effort taken in negotiating a design and quotation equilibrium can greatly be shortened and the flow of the project takes place more efficiently. Homeowners should set aside some buffer for themselves in case of additional job items that you might want to add on while construction takes place or any other unexpected expenses. Next item you can expect to see is a general space planning floor plan. This floor plan will indicate the location and general dimensions of the proposed carpentry items. It may also indicate which existing walls will be demolished or where new walls are constructed, and some annotation on what general materials will be used. Any other additional information would be a bonus at this juncture. The designer would then go through with you item by item in the quotation in conjunction with the floor plan to make sure you understand why a listed job is required and for you to know what you are paying for. You should insist that the designer do so that both parties can go through the process of checking the quote and floor plan together and know that they match. Try to seek clarification on the spot for any item that you are uncertain about rather than to communicate at a later stage. The last item you would expect to see during the second meeting before the list of optional items would be a set of mood images. This is a carefully curated series of photo collage that aims to communicate the general design direction to the homeowner. You can expect to see several images of various interior spaces arranged together to give you a sense of how one particular room can feel like. There may also be images of particular pieces of furniture and lighting that the designer includes that best suits your design brief. These images do not represent your final design and purchases, but only an indication of what the designer's intentions are. The platform in which the mood imagery is presented can vary from hard copy printouts, large format printer boards, to PowerPoint or Keynote presentations, and visual library apps. The idea is to communicate to the homeowner that this is going to be the direction in which the design of your new house will be, so that both parties are on the same page in terms of design. Many homeowners convey that they would like to see 3D perspectives during the second meeting. and design firms get more competitive by packing 3D perspective images into their initial design proposal standard package. In my opinion, it might be too early in the design process to show such images. Although they are visually attractive, think about it. Many homeowners feedback that even with the 3D views, they can't visualize the actual spaces in their new homes until they physically go on site. In this case, the effort in producing these visuals serve little purpose in gaining clarity for the homeowner. These 3D views tend to portray a wider view angle than an average human's, much like a wide-angle camera, in which it distorts your perception of the actual space. When you actually visit the site, there may be a disparity of what you expect to feel in terms of spaciousness and what you actually perceive on site, which is usually smaller due to the wide-angle effect of the 3D images. On top of that, this is only the second meeting that you are having with the designer. The aim is to see that if you are in favor of the general design approach, and not to nitpick at the details in the computer-generated or rendered 3D views of the space. While visually appealing, it might also distract homeowners on the real task at hand. These 3D perspectives will become necessary at the later stages of the design process, after more details are communicated. A step up from the fixed view 3D perspectives is a computer-generated virtual tour of a new home based on the proposed design. To a certain extent, a virtual walkthrough may be helpful to first-time buyers of BTO flats to visualize the interior of their flat while building construction is still ongoing. For our international viewers, BTO flats start construction only when most or all the units in the projects are taken up by buyers. The process used to take up to 4 years, but with the COVID-19 situation, waiting time may be extended up to 5 years. Back to the subject of virtual walkthroughs. For most parts, I would feel that it is still optional during the second meeting as there are still a lot of design decisions to be made for the virtual walkthrough to have real meaning. It would be more beneficial after most design decisions have been made by you and consolidated by the designer in the walkthrough. Such virtual walkthroughs require time, manpower, and resources to prepare, so expect to be billed for this item should you request for it. Some designers may turn up for their second meeting with you along with physical material samples that they have proposed in their design. This would be a good opportunity to gain some knowledge as well as a tactile interaction with the proposed materials. Both new homeowners and seasoned homeowners can benefit from this as designers bring up-to-date information on new and popular materials. Although a fair share of knowledge can be self-acquired online, honest user feedback can only be sought through your friends or relatives who have used that particular material in their homes, or from your designer. Stories and case studies on the usage of certain materials are usually shared among designers and suppliers, which may also be shared with you in the course of discussion. Here are some tips to help homeowners after their second meeting with the shortlisted designers. Essentially, the homeowner has 3 factors to prioritize: time, budget, and design. Out of these 3 factors, which one will you be willing to either lower expectations or compromise? I call this the trilemma. I might explain more on it in another video, but for now, you can use these prioritized factors to help you benchmark your shortlisted designers. Just remember 2 rules. All 3 factors cannot be at the top of your priority list, and there must be one factor that you are willing to compromise or be a bit more flexible in. Use your own design brief as a marking sheet against the design proposals. Which one responded to most, if not all of the requirements? What do you think about the quality of each response? How thoughtful is the design in responding to your needs and wants? If you're pretty satisfied with one proposal, but there are still some areas that you would like to include or improve, congratulations! You are halfway there in confirming an ID. However, don't be too quick to call off the others, as negotiations may fall through. Call off only when your negotiations in terms of quotation, materials, and general design are agreed upon. If not, you may end up back at square one. Let's recap. What you can expect to see during the second meeting with your shortlisted IDs. A floor plan with general space planning and carpentry items indicated. A quotation to show the breakdown of job items based on the floor plan. a set of mood imagery, or any other medium that conveys the overall look and feel of the proposed design. Optional items that you might get to see include 3D perspective views, virtual walkthrough, and material samples. Do note that by not having these optional items in the second meeting design proposal is not a deal breaker. During the second meeting, you can always find out from the designers on what visuals will be produced and services provided that come with the quotation. Not having these items is also not an indication that the designer is not committed to your project. Conversely, by producing too much for the second meeting may reflect inefficient allocation of time and manpower resources, or just plain inexperience. I hope that after this video, homeowners embarking on their discussions with IDs can feel more settled by knowing what to expect. To help with your comparison, click on the link in the description for your free comparison chart PDF. Do leave a comment below if you think that I should continue on what to expect after confirming your ID, and don't forget to like and subscribe for the latest updates on this channel. I'm Eugene, and this has been Shijin Does It.